Hello, welcome to Tarot with Tanya. This is 7 cards for 7 days. We are looking at the week, Monday, February 24th to Sunday, March 2nd. So we're bridging that divide here in 2025. So I will talk about some of the astrology for the week. We've got a new moon coming up this week. And then I'll talk about the cards, and we will end with an oracle card, which I'm going to have to pause and go grab because I forgot to do that, but I'll do that when we get closer to that moment. So thank you very much for being here. Welcome back if you've been here before, and welcome for the first time if you are new. With all of these readings for the collective, take what resonates for you, leave the rest behind. Or at least I'm encouraging, work on your intuition. We're in the information age, and it can be pretty hard to discern what is right for you, what's relevant, even what the truth is. So again, take what fits, leave the rest behind. So this week, we begin with the moon in Capricorn, and we're going to end with the moon in Aries. So Capricorn, the business person, the person who likes structure, who can oversee things in a way, making sure that they get followed through, can be a very responsible, nurturing male kind of energy as well. And, you know, on the darker side, it can be a little bit materialistic, maybe a little controlling. And then we're going to move, of course, to the moon in Aquarius. That's the far out one, the inventor, the crazy genius, the humanitarian. And then we will move to the moon in Pisces. And I'm going to mention again that toward the end of March, and you know, when that time comes, I'll talk about it, but we're going to have a heck of a pileup of planets in Pisces. So that's not going to be a time to make some big decisions. I even read, you know, it's like not a great time when Venus retrogrades, which it does this week, to even think about things like selling your house. So we're going to have a lot of, like I said, planets in Pisces later in March, and a lot of retrogrades too. So anyway, after that Pisces moon, where, you know, very creative, very dreamy, artistic, you know, concerned with the whole, don't distinguish the parts, things like that, then we'll move to the Aries, the beginning of the zodiac, the infant, the warrior, the initiator, the one who likes to be first. All right, and can be too forceful. That would be the dark side there. After Monday, on Tuesday, we have Mercury conjuncting Saturn. So, you know, Mercury's the mind. It is in Pisces now. So again, the emphasis on the the dreamy and the creative, not the creamy. And, you know, that universal oneness and so forth. So when Mercury's there, it's not, I mean, you know, that there's a little cloudiness to it. When it's conjuncting Saturn, then you're more on top of the details, because that's what Saturn does, like those details. And again, like I said, likes to get things done, likes to have strong boundaries. So just kind of keep those two energies in mind for Tuesday. And Mercury moves quickly, so by Wednesday there'll be some difference. On Thursday is when we have that new moon in Pisces that I mentioned. And you know, you can always do your new moon wishes. Here, it's not going to be like, all right, I am going to build a house, or I am going to maybe design something very detail-oriented. It would be kind of the opposite. It would be like a big picture, getting into that pool, the collective unconscious. So, you know, the poet, the musician, those are favored kinds of activities and actions when You have the moon in Pisces. We also have that day Mercury sextiling Uranus. So Mercury is the mind, Uranus is the higher mind. Mercury moves quickly, Uranus moves slowly. Though it can be very surprising when we have an encounter with it. So it could be like sudden news, surprising news, things seeming a bit zany that day. Then on Saturday, that's March 1st, and that's when Venus retrogrades. So it's in Aries now, and it will work its way back to Pisces, and that'll be part of that big pileup of Pisces planets in Pisces later in March. So, any retrograde invites us to go back over what the territory we've already traveled. Venus is relationships, it's women, it's the feminine, it's money. Venus likes money, Venus likes glamour, Venus likes to be pretty, flirt, those kinds of things. And it's also about our values. So as it's going backwards, it gives us a chance to reassess relationships, to look at our values, to maybe do some reassessing there as well. And then finally on Sunday, the 2nd of March, we have Mercury conjunct Neptune and the Sun square Jupiter. So those are going to be interesting energies to work with. The Mercury, again, the mind, conjuncting Neptune in Pisces. Oh my goodness. And Neptune this year it will move out of Pisces and into Aries, and then it's going to retrograde back into Pisces. So we won't, I think, be really with it moved into Aries finally, I believe, until the beginning of next year. But we will go through this phase Sunday with Mercury being there. And, Mercury is kind of sharp. It likes to know what's going on. It likes to bring the messages. It likes to travel, to move quickly. But when it gets conjunct Neptune, it's a very, very different energy, because that is the ruler of Pisces. It dissolves things. It makes us spacey. So again, you want to watch, not a good day for contracts or signing important papers, things like that, but more favorable to dream, to drift, to be, as one with the whole. And then the Sun squaring Jupiter part, they're both big energies. The Sun's our personality. The Sun is our illumination. It keeps us going. And Jupiter, the big gas giant, expands whatever it touches. So squares are tough. That's when the energies are coming at these angles. And it kind of makes it hard for both of them to maneuver. Now, when they, conjoin Jupiter and the Sun, then it's a great, big, expansive feeling. But here, it could feel tight. So, that could be a day. Take a little easy on the relationship front and just know that there may be some tensions in that way. All right, so I am using the Morgan Greer this week, and one of the first things that jumped out at me is that we have no major cards that came up. So we do have 2 royal cards, people cards, and the rest are minors. And we begin with the lovely 2 of Cups. So often people associate love with this. It can be romantic love. Angelis Arians, since she was an anthropologist, talked about this being an equal and special love. Like you love your child, that's special, but it's not equal because it's a different relationship. So this would be somebody you can have a relationship with, and so there's an equality there, and then it's special, right? On a non-romantic level, it could be about contracts, negotiations, and I could see where on Monday things like that could be okay to go into. Tuesday, yes, in a way, with Mercury conjoining Saturn, but remember there's that whole Piscean, Neptunian element going on this week as well, because the Sun moved into Pisces last week. So our second card for Tuesday, now we've switched from the water, the emotions of the cups, the psychic, the intuitive, into the instinctual of the fire energy. And the Seven of Wands can represent somebody standing up for his or her, their ideals, principles. What am I willing to make a stand on? And here obviously you've got the wands. It doesn't have to be physical, of course. It can just be verbal, talking about something, or a firm resolve inside. But the sevens to me have a very inner quality in a way. And this is like, all right, what am I motivated enough to stand up for? On Wednesday, now we've moved to another feminine element, the disc. So this would be the earth energy, and this one is our 10. So that's the last of the minors. They go from the 1 to the 10, and then we move to the royals. So this one is a very solid card because it is, it's material, it's earthy, it's a happy home. You have a good foundation. That can be quite literally, but definitely there is a material prosperity, and so much of that is emotional for us, how we feel about what we have. So it's a good day to be grateful, maybe take stock of what you have and be happy for that, and to see what you can appreciate about your own life and its material comforts. By Thursday, we get to that first royal card, and this one is the the knight rather, of swords. I cannot think of another deck that does things quite this way. I always see this structure here as the tower. And it's on fire, which fits more with that. And even though his sword is not facing toward that, there's this feeling like it's reflecting that fire. I mean, of course, we could see it as blood, but I feel like it's more about the firelight. So it's an air card, which makes it mental, our thought processes. This one can have a severing quality, like what needs to be separated, what needs to be seen clearly, so there's a discerning energy to it, and then a cutting off if there needs to be. Now the issue with the card can be cutting things too quickly, to not give something enough time, to not be thoughtful enough about it. But it can be somebody who's very good with words as well, so your own mind or your verbal ability, or a person around you, maybe a younger male who has qualities like that. Then on Friday, we're back to the cups, which began the week, right, with that 2 of cups. And now we've got the 9 of cups. And this interpretations of this one range from the greedy merchant, right, to happiness. And I like to go with the happiness aspect. I like the smile on the face. I like the way the yellow light is behind all of these chalices, our cups here. And it's a lot of good feelings. It can be very intuitive, but generally just happy. So Friday night, maybe a good date night or some kind of celebratory energy. Then on Saturday, we get a second 9. Now we're back to the wands. So 2 cups, 2 wands. Actually, we have a 3rd cup coming up. But here with this one, the 9s, are energies that are reaching toward that peak, because obviously the next card's the 10, and that that's the end, as I said earlier, of the minors, and then they go to the peoples. So here, the 9th wand. It can be again about being discerning. What do you see? How do you protect your own energy? That's my favorite interpretation. Sometimes you'll see a kind of battle-worn figure with this one. It's sort of like an energy depletion. And that can be an interpretation of the card. I prefer to see it more like deciding how you want to use your energies. Like, well, I'm not going to get upset about that because there might be something I really need to save that energy for that's more important. So that kind of discernment. And then we end our Sunday, March 2nd, with the Page of Cups, our second royal card. Back to the emotional, the psychic, the creative. So, pages are messengers. So it could be news, kind of emotional news, or something that's pleasing in that way. Here I love the gaze of the fish kind of toward the person, and the person is looking a bit toward the fish, but mostly seems kind of lost in a dreaminess. It can represent a young female, a very sweet daughter-like energy. But in general, it's a nice, sweet card. So, given we've got that sun squaring Jupiter energy on that Sunday, I'd lean into this. It's a much more mellow, innocent, authentic kind of energy. All right, so I'm going to pause this just for a second while I grab a card. I can get this to work. So I'm sorry for my fumbling there. I had to go get my cards in my book. So I'm drawing from the Enchanted Blossoms by Carla Morrow. And what came up for us was elegance and the lily Archduke. So very pretty cards. I love these. And we'll turn to the booklet here and see what it has to say about elegance. So the flowers, the lily, the butterfly is the Archduke. There is a Japanese proverb. Her standing figure looks like a Chinese peony. Her sitting figure looks like a tree peony. And her walking figure looks like a lily. The lily here perfectly depicts grace and elegance. Growing profusely throughout the northern hemisphere, these bursting blooms are varied in color and shape, with new strains created by gardeners every year. The white lily is a well-known symbol of elegance, and as the fleur-de-lis has been associated with heraldry, religion, and politics in France for many generations. This stylized lily was incorporated into the coat of arms of Joan of Arc's family, as well as many royal family crests. Look for beauty and grace in your everyday life and you will find it. You may see grace in the movements of an artist, in the curve of a flower, excuse me, or in the innocence of a child. Notice the delicate nobility in motion or sound. Bring elegance into your life through attention to your appearance, the way you carry out tasks, or the way you move through a room. Small touches can enhance the splendor in your life. Brighten a room with flowers, put on beautiful clothing, and eat a meal off the fine china. Excuse me. Adding some elegance in your life will elevate your mood and pull your attention to the beauty around you. All right. Well, thank you so much for being here, beloveds. I'm wishing you the best possible week. I hope you find your elegance, your peace, your happiness, and so forth. And please consider sharing, liking, subscribing. And if you're curious about what a personal reading entails, costs, so forth, just send me an email. Thank you.